Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is looking a little scary, guys. I can't lie. Somebody call mother. Jake could get hurt and then fall shudder or shock the world, leave us all muttered. But how realistic really is that? He's going to take this fight and have to brawl covered, or it's going to be a homicide on camera. Like we're in the forest with a Paul brother. Yeah, baby, yeah. In the forest with a Paul brother. Logan Paul's in the forest in Japan. Yeah, I ain't going to get into it, guys. But, guys, tomorrow Jake Paul is taking one of the biggest risks, I think, of all time. Like, if we're talking about risk. Now, when I use the word risk, I don't necessarily mean Jake Paul is taking a fight where he needs to win. But a risky fight as far as, like, he's putting his life on the line, no? Like, you can't play boxing, is what a wise man once said. But people might be looking at this fight a little bit wrong, you know. Guys, Jake Paul is actually good. Now, you can see the tweet next to me. This is my tweet. This blew up. It has, like, over 8 million views, 8.5 million. And I said, now, what if I told y'all ... Now, of course, me saying this, and we're in a lot of replies, a lot of quote tweets, a lot of experts breaking it down. Guys, Jake Paul actually looks good. Like, I want you guys to know that, though. Like, Jake Paul is not... People still see Jake Paul as a pitter-patter punter-pooter. Pitter-patter punter-punter. Like, they just like... They don't think he's good. Like, Jake Paul is legitimately good. There's a world that actually think, you know what? If I fucking warm up, I'll fucking take Jake Paul out of there. Guys, Jake's actually nasty, bro. Like, I'm talking about, like... bad. Like, he'll put a beating on you if you're not ready, or if you're not expecting it, or if you're underrating him. Now, is Anthony Joshua doing any of those things? I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, but I actually want to play this footage for you guys so you can know, like, I'm not trolling when I say Jake Paul's legit. Look at the work he's putting in on this bag, and look at the impact of these punches, man. Like, listen, whether you like it or not, I'll let it play a couple times while I speak. The thing about Jake is the way he's moving, guys. His movement, his power, the speed for a heavyweight. I'll be real, Jake. We're going to talk about his size. I feel like he's not really a natural heavyweight like these other guys. Like, Anthony Joshua is huge, but for the size of Jake Paul and the power he does possess, because I'm going to show you guys, Jake does have one-punch power. Like, he's one of those few people who actually has one-punch power, and he hits like a tank. And the fact he hits so hard, but he's able to move so well as well, this is what people aren't fully grasping of Jake. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. I knew my camera was going to do it, man. It happens at least once every video, man. It's going to always zoom in. But Jake's good, man. Jake has good movement. His in and out is quick. The way he throws the hook to the body is good. He has good body work, good speed. Jake Paul's one of the better boxers we've ever seen. And definitely the best boxer out of the crossover scene, I feel like. I feel like there's a point where I even thought KSI would, like, school Jake and all that. But he's a better man since his Tommy Fury loss. Like, he actually is. He could actually beat Tommy Fury right now. I think, like, honestly, because Jake Paul's improving at a rate that I probably haven't seen typical for anyone else. But I get it. He's rich. He lives in Puerto Rico now. He's training with crazy people. He's paying for the most expensive coaches. So it makes sense that Jake Paul is good. So if you're going into this fight tomorrow expecting Jake to not be able to box, you've lost your mind. Now, that being said, this is who he's fighting, you know. And let me say something. Francis Ngannou, like, you know, Francis Ngannou was actually supposed to be Jake's first opponent, and Francis turned it down like, you're not a real fighter. That's disrespectful. But let's be real, man. That would have been at least more intriguing than this one. What surprised me about this fight, guys, was it just seemed like Anthony Joshua was more of a reactive boxer. Look how he timed that counter. Like, bro, this is the thing about Jake. If Jake throws off target or, like, out of position, he's going to get done like this. Look how quick that was, dude. Ngannou didn't even know what hit him. He's on his back. That was just a quick slip by AJ into an overhand. So reactive. He waited for Francis to throw something, then he slips it with the overhand. Boom. And once that lands on Jake, man, I know Francis got up from this. Francis didn't get up from the second one. He got up from this, but I know he was feeling it, you know. Dude, I hate seeing Ngannou like this. I always pretend this fight is AI. Like, people, Kenny, you remember when fucking John Ngannou got knocked out, bro? What are you talking about? Yeah, I seen that AI video, bro. Grok AI, bro. I don't know what Twitter's doing. Dude, this video still looks unreal to me. Like, just the speed of Anthony Joshua with the power is something I want people to understand, that it's not something to play with. This happened in the second round, I believe. Like, and this is Francis Ngannou, who, like I said, isn't the most technical fighter. But after he went in there with, like, Tyson Fury, he's been in there with, like, a great heavyweight. You know, this is Jake Paul's first, like, actual fighter. And not only just a basic fighter. I know Anthony Joshua is coming off a loss to Usyk and, like, who's, like, great fighters, you know, and taking a long year layoffs. But this is not some other like rodeo for Jake. This is actually one of the best heavyweights in the world, and it's you can see it here. Like I know this fight was not as recent as the Usyk fight, but in the Dubois fight, but in this fight here, you guys, you could just see that he's so like Anthony Joshua is so fast and so technical. And then look at after this. Look how he just walks up the. Okay, this is why I think it's AI, man. He just walks up to him and bombs an overhand. And oh my, it's the way he his knee bent. You know, that's not something the unconscious guy does. I'm not laughing. See, I'm laughing. Why am I laughing? I'm trying to make light of the situation. Like, he just folds him, man. And it's one of those punches where, like, there's no technique behind this. Anthony Joshua just weighing an overhand because he was like, this guy doesn't want to be here. He's lackadaisical. He just got dropped. He doesn't even know where he is. Let me just hit him with this overhand. He's not going to see it coming. And boom, it happened. Now, this is what I call the heavyweight overhand. Some heavyweights just launch that shit and boom, they put people to sleep. Jake Paul has done this too, you know. That's why I think this is a little bit more interesting than people try to make it out to be. It's a little bit more interesting. Because look at this. This looks very similar to the Tyson Fury fight. Not Tyson Fury fight. Tyron Woodley fight with Jake Paul. Where, like, he didn't even hurt Tyron Woodley before this. But he just launches that overhand without any real technique behind it. Oh, my God. The volume's so loud. Boom. Matter of fact, I actually want to hear the audio of this. Listen how loud that shit is. Stiffs him. Now, both of these guys have one punch power. Of course, Woodley's not as big and as heavy as Ngannou, but it doesn't matter, dude. If you hit someone and they go to sleep, it means you have power to put them to sleep. You have one punch power. He one punch Woodley. Not much technique behind that. Very similar to Joshua KOing Ngannou. He kind of just wings something. The guy doesn't move and the guy gets slept. So that's great work from Jake Paul. Like, as far as like just a power standpoint, we already seen the speed that Jake Paul has. We've seen the combos he could have. We've seen the in and out ability he could have. He's going to be the smaller man in this fight, which might be to his detriment, but it's also going to allow him to be able to move well. Now, this is not the only time we've seen Jake Paul drop a big heavyweight, because in his sparring footage against people who look pretty sound, ooh, let me play the video correctly. People who look pretty sound, Jake's very quick with his timing of his overhand. He drops this guy too, kind of similar to what Joshua did to Ngannou the first time when he almost slipped something and landed an overhand. Look at this work right here. That's like he slips it into an overhand. Like, that was kind of clean by Jake. The guy telegraphs it, he slips under the hook, boom. And he puts that guy on a knee. And this is I don't know who, like, of course, this is a pro boxer in his Puerto Rican gym, whatever. I don't know how great this guy is. But from this alone, you see the timing of Jake Paul look actually impressive. You see, like, the speed of his overhand. There's power behind it. Jake's not a bad boxer. Jake has the power. Jake has the speed. Jake can he's on the back foot there. He sits his base, ducks his head under, lands a flush overhand. That's one of the cleaner overhands, technique-wise, I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Like, you don't throw much technical heavyweight shots when you're going against big clobbering punchers. You know, Anthony Joshua isn't even known for throwing crazy, like, technical shots. But Jake Paul might actually have, like, the speed and technicality. And, like, I know that sounds crazy to say, like, the technicality advantage, but Jake seems a little bit more technical. When Anthony Joshua hurts someone, he almost looks like he wants to get them out of there, which happened in the Dubois fight. If you guys remember the Dubois fight, Anthony Joshua hurt Dubois, and he kind of just tried to chase a finish and then ran into like an overhand from Dubois, and it put him to sleep. Very similar to this sequence, actually, where Dubois kind of slipped and just landed an overhand flush and put AJ on his ass, man. Jake Paul could fight. So before this video, if you thought Jake Paul was like a Disney star, don't let that shit confuse you. Don't let like his background confuse you. And I feel like Jake does a good job playing up to that, because he still nowadays tries to say, yeah, I'm a Disney kid. But bro, we know you could box now, or at least I know you could box. So you're not fooling me. I know you're a real fighter. And if Anthony Joshua goes in there and tries to like shake you off and brush you off, he could be the next Tyson Fury. Which brings me to this thing, because a lot of people are saying Jake Paul is going to get knocked out, and I'm one of those people. I actually think Jake Paul gets knocked out in the second round. But footage like this is Lawrence O'Keefe. This guy is about like 6'7". This guy's huge, guys. He's massive. And look at how he talks about his experience with Jake Paul. And this is like a pro boxer, by the way. Pretty solid as well. Look what he says about Jake Paul.
Joshua taking on Jake Paul. We've seen you doing a bit of sparring with Jake Paul. I've seen people questioning whether you were taking it light on him. Can you just talk to me about that spar and how it was for you and your experience?
Yeah, I was quite shocked. I was quite shocked by how good he is, if I'm honest with you. You know, I expected to just go in there and just like speak to the coaches, hey, how hard do you want me to go with him? Cause like what percentage? And they were just like, do what you do. So I went in and I did what I did, and so did, the other two guys that were there. And like I said, I was shocked.
Anthony Joshua taking on
So
Jake.
he didn't say too much here, but he says he was genuinely surprised. Now I know you guys. Oh, he's getting paid to say this. Shakur Stevenson said something very similar. Shakur did, by the way, for context. Shakur said that he feels as if Joshua should finish this dude. Like Joshua, if Joshua doesn't finish him, it's embarrassing. He should get him out of there. But he also said this. This is a 2-minute and 46-second video, so I'd rather just say the important quote. He said, "I think Jake is better than people would even understand. I was impressed for sure. I was surprised. You could tell he had a good coach in his corner and who was telling him the right things. He's listening to the right things." Then he goes on and says his instincts are to not get beat up or not get hit. I was surprised to see that for sure. As long as Jake doesn't get knocked out, as long as he stays on his P's and Q's in there, I think it should be okay. So what this is telling me is that the knockout that people think Anthony Joshua is going to get is going to be a little bit harder than we think. Or even I think, because I still think Joshua by knockout, but I'm starting to realize something. A lot of people, especially the ones who spar with him or seen him train, they're very surprised. The first thing they said is they're surprised by Jake. And it's not like they never seen Jake fight. They seen Jake fight on the stage. I think they're surprised at the rate of improvement. Now, Jake is, even Jake in these pressers talking about, like, he says he's going to knock me out. Like, I know that's not going to happen. I'm going to find the timing. Jake's confidence is a little bit abnormal. And I don't like, I know Jake's naturally a weirdo, but I feel like there's a reason for this, guys. I feel like there's a reason Shakur is saying that Jake should be okay if he's on his P's and Q's and should survive against Anthony Joshua. You know, and he still said Anthony Joshua's going to win, but he says Jake should go in there and survive, which lets me know that Jake has a good awareness. He doesn't like to take unnecessary shots, and he has good timing on his counter punches. So Jake Paul being a primary counter striker, going to be the lighter man in this fight, actually has a chance to maybe see the final bell. You know, the final bell could be ringing for Jake. This is what I think. And if you look at the size, though, this is the concerning part. First of all, Jake's listed at 6'1". He's listed at 6'6". People are like, dude, someone's lying about their height. You know, someone said that Anthony Joshua's on a platform, or like that Jake was hunching too much, so Jake looked so short. But I don't know about hunching this much, bro. Like, I know he was doing that little Karen pose, but dude, he looks so tiny, bro. Like he's like clip farming too. Oh my god, yeah, I see that. Like his back is arched, pause. Hey yo, but it doesn't. That should not be negating the height difference. Like the height difference is definitely significant in this fight, which is not what not what Jake Paul's used to. He's used to the Tyron Woodleys. You know, the Tommy Fury is about 6'2", 6'3", I believe, but this is the tallest 6'6" I think I've ever seen, bro. Like I've seen people 6'6". He looks giant. Joshua actually looks giant, and it's weird because Joshua looks giant every fight. I'm starting to think Joshua might be like 6'7", bro. I'm gonna say it. You know, Joshua might be 6'7". And then this is the actual weight difference, which is like, this is crazy, man. He's 216 pounds against a 243.4 lean, muscled, healthy, cardio ready. I knew you were going to zoom in on me. You're going to always do it, aren't you? Every time. Oh, fucking, if I could crack that camera, I'd do it. How can a camera move by itself, bro? It's 2025. This is crazy. But this 27-pound difference, guys. 27-pound difference, brother. All his life. 27-pound difference. Experience difference. Hairline difference. Strength difference. Body difference. Experience. This is looking really scary for Jake. Now, what I've noticed from heavyweight fights, I've literally seen heavyweights just size mog and bully people. Here's what I think's going to happen, guys. I do think Anthony Joshua is going to get the finish. And I think a lot of it's going to have to do with when they're both tired, or like if it gets to those later rounds, he will be size mogging him, bro. He'll be in the clinch, just bullying him, backing him up against the ropes. I can see Jake Paul being on the defensive, on the retreat the entirety of the time, you know, and then eventually gets broken by AJ and finished. Anthony Joshua did talk about in their face-to-face as well that I want to break him. I want to get to him, his mind mentally, and then find a way to break him, discourage him. And I think that can be exploited in this fight. Jake Paul does have a warrior spirit, but I feel like it's definitely possible to break him. No, of course, AJ is going to probably be the one to do it. I just think people are going to be a little bit surprised about how good Jake Paul does early on in the fight. That's the part that I feel like people aren't going to fully understand. Early on, Jake Paul's going to be ready. He's going to be quick. He's going to shock a lot of people. He might even steal a round, you know. He might steal like the first round or something, and people are like, how did that happen? But eventually, I do think the size, the strength, and just the experience of Anthony Joshua is going to get to Jake and end up getting him the finish. But I just want you guys to know this fight's probably not going to be as easy as you think. And Jake Paul's a legit opponent. Jake Paul's a legit fighter. He's not some fraud. He's not some nobody. Jake Paul's going to go in there. He's going to make it a fight for as long as he can before ultimately getting finished by the bigger, stronger, and more experienced boxer. But let me know what you guys think down below. I'm 100% sure Anthony Joshua wins. Now, I didn't make this video to say, oh, yeah, Jake Paul wins. I made this video to let you guys know Jake Paul's legit. But Anthony Joshua is a different level. Jake Paul beats all these influence and all these guys, but he took a big step in Anthony Joshua, and that step is too much to make up for, especially in a little time he had with training. Joshua gets a late fight TKO, but it's not going to be as easy as you guys think. Let me know what you guys think down below. That's it for me, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.